we have very important patch notes that you have to know about. We're gonna go over them super quickly, just so you know what the heck's coming out tomorrow morning. And if you want to see these changes live, hop over to my Twitch tomorrow and I'll see you there. Let's get right into it. So today's videos are all about patch 2.4.0. This is a very bug heavy patch because there was a lot of bugs that actually got patched, but there's also some pretty good changes coming to the game. Basically, to summarize this thing is that they're still looking at the forge, they're still looking at armor, they're still looking at power progression, and they'll talk about later on in some further updates. For today, they changed a couple of different things. One of these things was the friends list. There was a limitation on how many people you could actually have on your list, and it made you get a certain bug that would just screw everything up. But now they have a limit of 250 people that you can have on your friends list, and then you're gonna have to start removing people. So this is basically kind of a bug fix just to try to help people that had over 250 friends. That's not too important for most of us, but here are some very important things. Now for weapons and gear, they said this is a minor patch for balance. You plan to have more balances coming in patch 2.5, which will be the next patch. And based on some of the feedback we've seen in the community channels, weapon and armor balance is always something we're keeping a close eye on. I do have a little something for you in the meantime. So Hunter Vision is coming back, but it's coming with a few changes. They fixed the sound cue for Hunter Vision. So now when you're in Hunter Vision mode, you're going to emit a constant noise while it's actually active. So people are always going to know that around you there's someone near them with Hunter Vision. This is going to obviously help bring some more balance to this perk, since this perk was absolutely broken beforehand. Now there's also an indirect vision range that's been reduced from 3,000 to 1,500 when enemies are not within normal line of sight. So basically you just have to be closer to the enemy to be able to see him with the Hunter's Vision. Next is the direct vision range has been reduced from 8,000 to 6,000. So this is when you actually see the enemy straight on, you see him, there's nothing blocking your way. You have to see him from a little bit closer. So basically all the radiuses from this helmet got nerfed. Now for Theros Island, they made some changes to kind of help with the rattiness of the map, just because the map is very rat heavy, because there's a ton of corners that are just completely pitch black, and they're trying to make it so there really isn't any corners that are just completely pitch black. Basically, they said a number of dark corners have been smooth or illuminated. They just add a kind of light element to it, so it just lights up the area. They already did this in a previous patch, but they're just adding more areas every time they patch usually. So they're trying to light up the map a little bit more so you can't hide in those dark pesky corners. There's also been a reduction of stuff to hide behind in the pit, so basically they can take a box away or something. We don't know what they took away yet, but basically they took stuff away so you can't hide behind objects, and in the dark it's just a 2-for-1 comp. That's just OP for rattiness. They also said a handful of locations that caused you to die from void when trying to pick up gear have been adjusted. I didn't have any issues on this, but maybe some of you did. So basically you can now claim your hard-earned rewards without fear of a big one-way drop. That's obviously a positive, and one of the most important things that they did was they actually reduced the storm time on Theros Island. Not the actual time, they reduced the time between storms, so they took 9 minutes off. So whatever the time was before, subtract that by 9, and that's now the time. So you're gonna get storms more often now in Theros Island, which is obviously a good thing. I think there should be some more changes to this, but we'll see what happens in the future. And now for some miscellaneous changes. They said they changed the player report workflow, so now it should be easier to report people and make this an easier process. They also said you won't be able to walk on barbed wire and thorny vines, and the level designer Tsuji said that they still won't apply damage for now. So I'm guessing those things are going to cause damage eventually. So if you can get on those things, you'll actually start dying. That doesn't happen yet, but I'm sure it'll happen soon. They've reduced the fog in some parts of the map, which is a good thing because I absolutely hate the fog. Also, this is a very important change. It's small, but very important. They increased the size of the script stack size from 1,000 to 10,000. So now you won't have 3 stacks of 1,000, 4 stacks of 1,000. Now you'll just have them all compiled into one stack that caps at 10k, which is a very good change because that saves me minimal like 3 to 5 spots. They also made a huge change in loot value for the Crusher Cavern. Basically, the dungeon got a buff in the loot. They added some new loot containers. As a result, the amount of monsters was adjusted. They also said the boss was made harder as well. So I'm guessing they changed it, made the dungeon a little harder. We'll try it tomorrow on stream, so come on by. And also they said the vanity items got their price adjusted, which is just obviously some vanity items got their price adjusted. Also, there are some smaller adjustments on how the matchmaking works for both trusted and untrusted servers. So basically, more people should be trusted now. This is a good change for some people because I heard a lot of people saying that they couldn't get into the trusted servers, but hopefully this expanded the horizon so they can actually get into those servers now. Now there is a metric crap ton of bug fixes, like so many that it's absolutely absurd. Look at all these changes. There is so many. So night vision doesn't make players more visible through smoke anymore. armor. The perk that reduces damage from explosives will only apply to damage received from explosives. There was a small fix for the reduced weight perk that was implemented. They fixed an issue where dropped player loot around specific ledges towards the void was inaccessible and it would make you die. They fixed a cabinet that was clipping through the roof in Osiris offices. There was a floating ancient vent that they fixed. The forge won't eat your gear anymore if it's dropped within the cylinder. You can't fire the Zeus beam with absolutely no charge. They patched that bug. The kinetic arbiter sound bug got fixed. Swapping weapons will no longer act as a makeshift sound dampener and remove environmental sounds. So again, this bug is no longer OP. This was the most broken bug I've honestly ever seen, ever. And to see it fixed is honestly phenomenal, because when I saw people with arbiters doing a drill, I didn't push it because they could hear everything. Again, this is all just, they fixed a door, they fixed some different stuff of missing walls. There was a crusher that was missing from skeleton that they added back on. It was supposed to be there in the beginning, but they forgot to add him or something. Something went wrong, obviously, but there's now a crusher at skeleton, which is going to honestly help with PvP. People are always running through there, and you never really get any noise if the mobs are dead. So now there's going to be a crusher there, and that's just one more crusher to kill around the map. Another big change is the laser drill will carry backpacks with it as intended, and those won't clip through the surface anymore. So basically, the backpacks won't float anymore, I'm guessing is what this is trying to say. You won't get those weird floating backpacks in the sky. They're going to be lifted up and shot away. They also fixed the Fortuna past level 100 pop-up appearing after literally everything. I've had this bug for weeks, so if you have it, you know, but basically every time I did a quarters upgrade, it would say I completed level 100 for my Fortuna pass, and it was the most obnoxious thing known to man. Basically, if you want to read the rest, go for it. Again, pause, I'll link it down below. Make sure you read everything, you know what's going on. Now for some known issues that are in the game. These aren't patched in this patch, but they know about it and they're looking into it. Basically, there's a bug with hit registration when shooting the comrade. It says you get a kill, it says you're not going to kill, then you do get a kill. It's confusing, but the comrade is basically just screwed up, basically. On crafting, the gear printer sometimes says you can upgrade something or you can craft something, but you really can't craft something because something else is crafting, so that's getting fixed too eventually. But that's basically the patch notes. They buffed dungeons, removed the arbiter bug, fixed some of the drill spots. They did, overall, this was a pretty good patch notes, just because they also reduced the forge time, which is honestly something we've all been wondering about and asking for. So honestly, I'll give this update like an 8 out of 10. I think a solid 7 to 8 out of 10 is very valuable for this. But if you boys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the stream tomorrow. Deuce.